Alright, we're back. I'm going to get started on this Smith & Wesson shield. See what we can do with it. Those sights again. I love them sights. So let's lock the slide back. Turn down our dealio. Pull the slide right off the front. We don't need the slide or any part of up here. This has already been done, so we'll just lay this off on the side. And this is what we're going to be working with. I don't know if you can see any of these pieces in here, but I'm going to put a new sear in it. Put the new trigger system in it. And take a look around while we're in here. So, here's our Apex Armorer's block. And there's how it fits. It's actually pretty nice because we got to knock these pins out. Oh, before I get started, I'm sorry. This little selector has to come out. Now this is the normal position for the selector. And you always turn it down, straight down, to pull the slide off the front. But if you turn this back up, right about in there, and you wiggle this, this thing comes right out with zero problems. And it has to be set at that angle for it to come out. I don't know if you can see this or not, but right here on the top there's just a little cutout, a little nub sticking up. And it has a slot in this frame that goes through. And you don't want to try to pry it out or anything. You'll break it off, and that's no good. So there's our block. We got our punch. We got our hammer. Let's see if we can drive these pins out so that we can get to all of our parts. That's one. There's only 3 pins in it. That's 2. And then we have this one. The roll pins you take out from that side. You take all of them out from the same side. But this next pin you can see right here has this flat head on it. So that's give you an idea of what direction that's supposed to go back in. Now I'm just going to push this one through, and it's out just like that. That's good. So we'll start back here. Lift this back block up. Pay attention to how it's oriented here, how this will go back in, so that it won't be so hard when you go to put it back in. Just give everything a good look. Know where you got it from. And I looked at it good, and you can see this little slot right here, this little peg sticking out here. It's set right back in this area here, in this block. Okay, so we got the block out. Next thing we got to do is take this little pin out right here. a little pin right there, goes all the way through, comes out on this side. It's got that fat head on it because we got to remove this sear and the spring underneath of it. But when you take this pin out, you've got to keep your finger on top of this sear, or that spring underneath of it will just pop that thing right out of there, and you may lose it. So pushed it through like that. My finger's still on top of the sear. I can feel the pressure against my thumb easing off, and there it is. Pay attention to how that went in. It has a hole right in the center of it. So there's the old part. Let's break open our bag. Get our parts laid out. So here's our new sear. I'll show you the difference here. I don't know how good you can see this, but this is the new and the old. The new one looks a little thinner. There's definitely a difference in them, that's for sure. So we're going to need that. We're going to need our spring. And you have a little detent here. Break. So the little detent sits down in that spring like that. So that's another old part. Here's a new spring. That's just going to go back in reverse order now. Back in the slot. Put your new sear in. Aligning the hole. Start your pin. Align your hole. And you're going to have to play with it a little bit, that's for sure. And that's it. It's all the way in. Flush on this side. Flush on that side. The new sear is installed. Alright, so now what do we got? We got to take out this little block in the front. And then we got to pull the trigger assembly up and out. Just like that. Because this is what we're putting in. The old, the new. Alright, so what do we got? What do we got? We have a spring. This spring has to come off because we are installing our new spring. You know what, I'm going to pull this off first. I'm going to pull this out because this arm has to go on our new trigger. So pay attention to this very, very closely. This armor's block was made for this. I think I do need to get this spring off. There it is. If you get it positioned just right, it pops right off. Now we can put the trigger in the armor's block here. I'm just trying to get a position where I can drive that pin out. And boom, it's out. So the hole here, there's a slot here in the trigger, just like that, and it goes, and then your pin goes through that. However, with the new trigger from Apex, they have the pin already halfway through. So you just need to align it with the pin. Actually, it just like popped in right there. So all I need to do now is tap it in. Need to get in a solid spot. I need a solid location for this. Let me try right in here. Still needs to go some more. Lined up, I don't get why it's not going. You're gonna have to figure this out. going now. It's driving. Almost flush. So it's flush and flush. It's in. All right. Now we have to set up our new spring. It goes in like that, turns around like this, and then this comes up. Lift this up, this arm up, and it lines the spring up inside of it through these holes. And this kit comes with this little doohickey that you put in here, and it holds this in place while you're installing it. Like that. And then we'll set this back in, and as we push our pin through, it'll drive this temporary little pin out. So we need this system again. Need our piece in the back. Remember where that piece went. Let me set this block back in first. Just like that. This piece needs to be lifted up. Pull this back apart. It's the first time for me doing this, so I need to make sure that all this stuff is right. For some strange reason, it doesn't feel like it wants to go back in there. But I didn't change anything with this. Alright, we're going to have to go off camera for a second. Let me figure this out, and when I do, I'll come back and share it with you, but something's wrong. Anyway, Be right back. Alright, sorry I went offline, but I had to figure it out, and what it is I was just trying too hard. This little block, just you get it positioned in the right spot and it just falls right in. It's like I can do it and then I can't do it and then I can do it and I can't do it, but anyway, you get it in the right spot and it just, I mean, it literally just falls right into place. Boom, it's in just like that. So let me try this again. Drop this in. This goes in here. Alright, another little malfunction. I'll be back. Alright, we're back again. So, let's get this thing put together. So, our first step here is we're going to go ahead and put the trigger in. I'm going to get everything set up the best I can where it'll go through smooth. So, we're going to set our trigger in. And then we're going to go ahead and set our block, the trigger block, back in. And it has grooves, so there's no need to force anything. You may have to play with it. And boom, it's in. It's down, just the way it's supposed to be. And then we're going to go ahead and put our pin back through. Remember the one that was flat, sets flush down in here? And you're going to look down in there and line up that little green tab, that little temporary pin, if you remember that. And you got to play with this. And if you just seen that, as I pushed this pin in, it shot that little temporary one right out of there. Worked like a charm. Apex really did a great job with this kit. I got to tell you, I am impressed. So those two are back together. What's next? We got to go to our block in the back. Lift up on this arm just a little bit and set that in here where it goes. This is very tight. Okay, so if I Alright, I pull the trigger and that helps out. And that's down. Went right into place. Squeeze the trigger a little bit. It goes right into place and just drops right back down. That is, I like that. That's good. It's nice and tight. Alright, last step. Put it back in our block and get our pins back in. Pin in the back. Doesn't feel like it wants to go, so I'm going to drive it back out if I can. I just need a longer. I think that may be it. My back block, this piece here, the back block, I just pushed it again and it snapped all the way down, so I think that's where we need to be. Yet the pin still doesn't want to go. So I need to figure out what's going on with that.
Both of our
Going ahead and starting the front pin, I'm going to get it in. Get it where it needs to be, level on both sides. That's that. Now I got to figure out this back pin. Everything is lined up properly. I don't know why it's not wanting to go. Would like to be able to punch it back out. That's what I would like to do. But for some reason this pin just does not want to go in. Alright, I'm not going to push it anymore and force it. I'm going to pull it back out. I got to pull it all the way back out. Figure out what's going on. I can see all the way through. It looks fine. Don't understand this. But we'll get it straight. Another technical difficulty, but that's me, and that's who I am. I'm just an average guy. This is what I like to do, this stuff, and you know, when I have a problem, you're going to see it. When I have a problem, you're going to see it, you know. And I'll show you when I get it fixed, how I fixed it. Alright, I will be back. Alright, it's all together. Sorry for going offline again, but like I said, I'm just a regular guy. I'm not an armorer. I can do this stuff, but you know, I have to work with it. I have to figure some things out sometimes too. So I got it all back together, and all the problem, it wasn't any problem at all. I actually had to, you had to drive on this a while to get that in. That's all it is to it. There's no other way around it. It has to be done that way. And it's in. Everything is working. Looks like it should. Nice blue trigger. Wow, this is incredible. Feels great. Just wanted to test it one time. So, one piece left to put in, and this is that piece in the front. You remember it's got the little nub on it, so we'll put it in at a slight angle. Push it through to the other side, slight angle, turn it down just like that. Put our slide back on. Lock it back, lock it in place, send it forward. And there's your new trigger. Look, no hardly any take up whatsoever on this trigger. Wow, I can tell you right now, I like it already. Well, that's it. Finished product. Sorry I had problems. Next time I'll try to make it go a little smoother. But I like it. Got my new Talon grips on, got my new Apex trigger installed and in it, got my new night sights on. It's in good shape. I do believe so. So once again, this is Lock and Load 223. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up down on the bottom and subscribe. I'll leave a link in the description box here where I'll leave a link below to the tactical shop where I had some of this work done. And yeah, that's it. See you next time.